Alright, so here's a couple videos, wrap up linear inequalities and solving them. And there are several videos inside of my math lab already that came with the product that will guide you through the first situations, but these are two very specific, and so I wanted to kind of address them here, and then obviously there's some of the overlays back to the previous problems. You can use those. So the first thing is these are two specific situations, and on the first one, it's that negative that we need to be concerned about. So what are we going to how are we going to handle this negative? And so I'm going to look at a specific simplified situation to show you something. So I'm totally making these numbers up. If I had negative 2x is less than 6, so according to my algebra rules, I would divide by negative 2, and I would get x is less than negative 3. Except, how could that work? I mean, you have a less than here that's less than a positive 6, and then all of a sudden you divide by a negative, and all of a sudden now you have a negative number that's greater than your x. And so that really changed things around. And so what we need to consider here and realize is that with inequalities, when you divide by a negative, your inequality symbol will flip. So because I divided by this negative, my inequality flips from being a less than to a greater than. Alright, so that's a little side note right there. We'll put a little box around it. And now let's go take a look at how this works in this guy. So you have a couple approaches to this. You could go ahead and you could do the distributed property. You could distribute that negative through, and then you could solve this inequality. I think a direct route would be to realize that this is times, and the inverse of multiplying is to divide. If you divide one side by negative 3, you can divide the other by negative 3. These negative 3's cancel. So that gives me 4x minus 6. Remember, we just divided by a negative, so my inequality switches, negative 2. And now I solve this equation like I'm solving a normal linear equation. So add 6, 4x, my 6's cancel, is less than 4. Divide by 4, x is less than 1. So we're given our answer in both notations here just for the sake of practicing. So remember, you might want to draw a number line to kind of help you visualize here. So there's 0 and there's 1. We're an open circle, and we are x is less than 1. So we're an open circle going towards negative infinity. So negative infinity would be over here, positive over here. So now, when I put this in interval notation, that would be negative infinity to 1, open parentheses on both. If I put it in set builder, that would be x such that x is less than 1. Okay, so we have set builder, and we have interval notation. Alright, moving along to the next problem here. Don't write this down necessarily in your steps here because I'm just trying to do an explanation. We have two inequalities here. We have our first inequality, which is represented right here. And so that's negative 7 is less than 2x plus 1. And we have our second inequality, which is right here, which is 2x plus 1 is less than or equal to negative 1. So we have two inequalities in this problem, and the problem is that if you break it apart, then when you finalize your answer, it's going to be confusing that you're still between. So instead, a way that this is handled often is to still solve it as though it's a linear, and that you're going to use inverse operations. But when we're trying to get x by itself, remember that's our goal, we're trying to get x by itself, we just subtract 1. Well, we have to subtract 1 from this inequality, and we have to subtract 1 from that inequality. So now I get negative 8 is less than or equal to 2x is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay, same deal. I'm trying to get x by itself, so I divide by 2. Well, I divide this inequality by 2, and I divide that inequality by 2. So I get negative 4 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to negative 1. Let me clean that up. And that's my solution. Well, that's an inequality form. So now if I wanted to put that into interval notation, remember, you might want to think about a picture. You don't have to draw a picture, but for some of you that are maybe having a hard time understanding, you would then be able to see you have a closed circle on -4, a closed circle on -1. Your x is in between. So now when we write set builder, it would be the set of all x's such that -4 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to -1. And if we write interval notation, that would be starting at -4 and going to -1. All right, so good luck with those. Let me know if you have any questions. That should wrap up inequalities, and utilize these videos to help you with past problems also as needed.